Telling you, I have never seen the amount of hyperbole and just the incorrect, non-factual information that is put out within these foreign expat groups, especially the vested interest expat groups. I have never seen this much hyperbole. Hello my dear followers, thank you for coming to my channel. Frank and Angie are in Cuenca, Ecuador, and we've been living here going on 8 years, and we have never paid more than $300 for 4-bedroom houses. Yes, I like to point that out. And what is the most undervalued asset in Ecuador? It isn't the $300 rentals, not even real estate. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't undervalued assets in those areas, but you know, we need to think about assets that are undervalued, underappreciated for a time. And it's not that they don't have value, it's that it's being overlooked or until somebody points it out. And that's my goal with this video, to point out the undervalued, most undervalued asset in Ecuador, according to Frank and Angie. And listen to this. Let me make an example for you. When we were in Salinas, you might recall, and you can search for these videos in our channel, but when we were in Salinas, we were talking about the cost of rentals and real estate, the beachfront cost of rentals and real estate, and how inaccurate and how silly the costs were compared to what was being promoted as the New South, where you could live on $1,000 a month when the rents are higher than that figure just for the rent. So anyway, that's not my point. My point is that just one block behind, I wanted to let you know, the reference point was the really expensive beachfront real estate. That just barely one block behind that real estate, the street was waterlogged, it was muddy, it was not paved. And this was the case for many years, the whole time we were here. And before that, obviously before we even got here. 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, and so on till 2016 when we went to Salinas, and we made a video, and wouldn't you know it, it's not but a month or two later, the street gets paved and the situation is improved. What do we have here? Oh my gosh, we got a whole lake. I don't know if you can see that. That's the ocean right there. You can see the reflection of the building in the water. I don't know if you can see it in the video how far up the water goes, but it's all the way across, so you can't make it across this corner all the way to the wall. Next, undervalued asset, one more example. For a time, there was also a situation going on in the real estate rental market in Cuenca where there was a lot of unscrupulous dealers. They were pushing illegal contracts. They were illegal in Ecuador. They were unscrupulous. They were using unscrupulous practices to take advantage of unsuspecting foreigners that maybe didn't speak the language, didn't understand different customs or whatever. And these were clearly illegal in Ecuador contracts, and we made a point to expose those. And that largely has also been remedied. So I'm just picking a few things out of memory, because I mean there are so many things, especially in the Do-It-Yourself Cuenca Landing Guide, one of our digital books about living in Cuenca, Ecuador. We talked about all the things ever since we landed here 7.5 years ago, and all of the things that have been improved in the city. Now, these are perfect examples of how it takes somebody to talk about and say something about these situations before any improvement can be made. The improvements were only made after somebody said something. other thing is, no one else within the RAM group, the Retire Abroad Media and Magazine promoters, you know, the ones that have their little liaisons with the offices and, you know, and their vested interests, and anyone else for that matter within the expat community, although there were a few isolated incidents of people speaking about this and that, no one else really discussed, exposed, and assisted people to understand clearly the situations, which caused many improvements to be made in the area that benefits everyone else. So you've got the people that basically largely don't say anything, and then you've got the few that are willing to get out there and share this information so that the improvement can be made, and then the whole expat community benefits. Because I don't own a condo in Salinas, but the people that own an expensive and purchased a condo in Salinas, they benefit by the road behind their expensive condo that they plunked all that money into. They individually benefit because that road was paved and is no longer muddy and waterlogged. And all of the people that don't get taken advantage anymore by unscrupulous dealers with illegal rental contracts, they benefit. Everybody in the community benefits from this kind of exposure of these kinds of things. And so this brings me to this fact. There was one particular commenter, we didn't get much of it, just one time. You guys are self-righteous. You guys are self-righteous. Whatever, they got upset. And, you know, people can tend to sometimes overreact. You know, they don't keep their emotions in check. But when you think about this for a moment, right? I have been involved in a lot of things in my life, and I've done a lot of things all over the place, in the States and abroad and everything. I'm telling you, I have never seen the amount of hyperbole and incorrect, non-factual information that is put out within these foreign expat groups, especially the vested interest expat groups. I have never seen this much hyperbole. You know, it's like a calling for us to sit here and say, wait a second, I mean, I can't sit here and listen to all that garbage and allow that to just go on, and well, maybe I can. Maybe I can just sit back and allow people to get, you know, taken advantage of. And what's it to me if they're plunking down big bucks on beachfront condos and they can't even cross the street because the street's waterlogged, you know, with 3 feet deep water. Some things, you know, they just need to be said. Somebody needs to be said, because this is the beginning of change and improvement. And this change and improvement benefits everyone else. And it's not benefiting me personally per se, because I know how to wade my way through in these countries, just based on my background, my experience, who I am, and you know, I'm just able to do it. So some things just need to be said in order to facilitate and precipitate and initiate improvement, okay? For example, in the States, if businesses make false claims, there are consequences, okay? Doesn't mean nobody's doing it, but there are consequences, and it's not quite, you know, they keep it down. But out here, which we call RAM land, RAM, Retire Abroad Magazine and Media, this is RAM land. They operate outside of borders, and therefore anything goes as long as it sounds good. Hopefully now you know what the most undervalued and underappreciated asset is in Ecuador and beyond. So it seems like the real gems and undervalued, underappreciated assets is you. Those of us, you, that speak up to help your fellow man. You know, I was contacted by a fellow a little while back ago that we had given some assistance to a couple of years prior to him contacting us, and it turned out that he was on his way out of Ecuador. He and his wife had decided to leave. So they asked us for assistance to sell their house. Now, I'm not a real estate agent. I told them, I'm not a real estate agent. I can't help you sell your house. You know, what I do is I educate people. I help them to understand how they can have a better life abroad, our view of how one is to have a better life abroad. There's a clue. It's not the Ram magazine spiels. But anyway, I just asked them, well, they didn't really volunteer why they were leaving. And so I asked them, I said, would you like to make an exit video? Never heard from them again. You know, the gems and the people that are helpful to the community are not these people that put their heads down and don't say anything, because that doesn't help anybody. I saw another guy write directly to the Ram magazines on their site, complaining about all the extra nickel and dime extra costs associated with the particular destination that was, being pitched at the time, that weren't mentioned in their promotion. And he was basically told to just sit down and shut up. And so don't go to them, and complain, because they don't really care about that. I mean, they give lip service to promoting to people on Social Security. But anyway, I just tell it like it is. If you got to have a stomach for it, you got to be ready for it. Okay. So when you sit down to watch my video, sit down. So support the undervalued and underappreciated asset. Subscribe to our channel. We have digital books about Cuenca, Ecuador. Pick yourself up a copy and join the Patreon and support this channel so that the whole community can become a better community and can benefit from all of the improvements and factual, truthful information. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.